Now, let's move to my children, my Africa. Oluthando Zama. Okay, so let me just put that down for a second. We are in, and for those of you who are studying this, we are in, hang on a second. It's that scene, it's scene 5. So we're in Act 1, Scene 5. Now please, again, don't turn away, not pay attention, because even though we've done a bit of Macbeth, a bit of poetry, a bit of a short story essay, and now we're doing a drama that you might not be studying. What we are practicing are reading skills. So it really doesn't matter if you are doing Othello or Hamlet or The Crucible. We're still looking at how does a play work? How does it operate? And we're practicing reading skills for you for an unseen text. Okay, so at the beginning of the scene, just to make sure that everybody's sort of coming to this with some understanding, we've got Mr. M is a teacher who wants his own pupil from his school, and the child, the girl who comes from a privileged white school in the town, to work together and enter a Grahamstown competition. And they have to study English literature to do it, and he has entered them as a team, and they have to answer questions, and he's hoping that they will win. And then on the back of his pupils shining in this competition, he will ask Rhodes University for a bursary for him. And what he has not realized is that his pupil, Tami, has become increasingly disillusioned with the whole education system, with those people who are advocating negotiation with the white, racist, oppressive apartheid government, and he's becoming increasingly rebellious. This actually works so nicely after the Calvin cartoon. So the rebel is what is emerging in Tami, and Mr. M hasn't yet realized. So Isabel arrives first, and Mr. M talks to her and tries to find out what's going on with Tami, and she feels uncomfortable with that. Anyway, then Tami arrives, and they start going through what they've been studying. They're doing a whole lot of poetry. And then, Oluthando, you've asked me to pick up with as simple as that. Okay, so let me just go back. Tami talks about the pharaohs. And Isabel says, are you trying to stir up a little social unrest? And he says, don't joke, Isabel. There are quite a few Ozymandiases, oppressive leaders, waiting to be toppled. And Mr. M is listening to this exchange. He tries to smile, and Tami's just said that we won't leave it to time to bring down the oppressor. And Mr. M, trying to smile, says, who's the we you're talking about, Tami? And Tami says, the people. And it's printed like that on the page. And Mr. M says, yes, of course, I should have known. The people with a capital P. Does that include me? Now, Tami is black, Mr. M is black. Am I one of the people? And Tami says, if you choose to be. Now, if I were to look at one theme which seems to me to go through literature, I would say it's the idea of choice. How much choice do we have? What limits our choices? How do we assert the choices against other people who might be making choices for us? It's a major theme in Tsotsi, studied in grade 11 home language. It's a theme in Romeo and Juliet, studied in grade 10 home language. It's a theme in Macbeth, grade 12 fowl. It's a theme in literature. So the idea of choice, and then how do we respond to those ideas? So Tami says to Mr. M, you can be seen as one of the people if you choose to be. And Mr. M says, so I have to choose. Does not having a black skin make me a member automatically of the people? So he says, okay, so how do I make that choice? And Tami says, by identifying with the fight for our freedom. And here we are at the crux of what this play is about, is how do you fight? So do you fight physically? Do you get weapons? Do you shoot? Do you kill? Do you plant bombs? Do you blow up civilians? Do you sabotage oil refineries? And we've been talking about electricity. Do you sabotage power stations? Or do you fight with words, with reason, with argument? And so this particular sentence shows you the polarization of the two characters. So there's Tami and Mr. M. And Mr. M wants to do the fight through reason, through argument, through words, through education. And Tami is, let's write that word down, disillusioned with that, and says, no, it hasn't worked. How long have black leaders tried to talk to the white government or to white people to get them to oppose the government? And it hasn't worked. So this is the issue. How do you identify with the fight for our freedom, a sense of all black people have to stand together? And Mr. M says, as simple as that. I want our freedom as much as any of you. In fact, I was fighting for it in my small way long before any of you were born. But I've got a small problem. Does that noble fight of ours really have to stoop to pulling down a few silly statues? Where do you get the idea that we, the people, want you to do that for us? So what we see is a standoff as well, as Tami says, that what they do as activists represents all of black people, and they are acting on behalf, as an activist, they are acting for all black people. And Mr. M is saying, not necessarily. I don't think you're acting for me. It's not necessarily what I want. And I don't want pulling down statues. And Tami, we're told, trying. What is he trying to do? Keep his temper. Keep control. He says, they are not our heroes, teacher. So the statues that white people have put up to honor people, they're not black people's heroes. They're not our statues, Tami. Wouldn't it be better for us to rather put our energies into erecting a few of our own. We've also got heroes. So he says, but you cannot pull down other people's statues. Now we're back to vandalism. We're back to that first cartoon. You cannot use violence. And Tommy says, like who, Mr. M? Nelson Mandela? Hey, they would pull that statue down so fast. And Mr. M cutting him. In which case they would be just as guilty of gross vandalism. And there's the word vandalism. So he cuts through what Tommy is saying, because that is what it will be regardless of who does it to whom. If you pull down a statue erected by another group of people, it's vandalism. If you blow things up, it's destruction. It's not lawful. Destroying somebody else's property is inexcusable behavior. And you've got the crux of the conflict, and that is critical to characterization. You've got the crux of the conflict between the two characters as to how do you bring about change. Now, I'm running out of time, but let's just try the first question. Why does the playwright include the stage direction trying? The stage direction is an indication from the playwright, who is Athol Fugard, to the actor playing Tommy about what he is feeling. And trying shows that he's going to lose it. He's going to lose it any moment now. So the actor must in some way show, pull your shoulders down, breathe, try to relax the tension in jaw and neck. Trying. You're dealing with a teacher you've known for a long time. There's been a lot of respect in this relationship. It's crumbling at this point. Then what point is Mr. M making? He's saying that black people should honor their heroes rather than destroying the statues of others. Don't go for destruction, go for creation. And Tommy's argument, of course, is, oh yeah, we put up a statue of Nelson Mandela, how's that going to work? And this is sort of 84, 85.